Hi, welcome to the Industry Astrology New Moon Forecast for May going into June of 2025. The moon is waning, the energy decreasing. How are you feeling? The moon is waning, and on May 26th at 8:02 p.m. Pacific time, the moon will conjoin the sun and then begin to wax again. Feeling tired, maybe at your limit with something, at the threshold of a new chapter. New moons are a time of diminished energy. It's actually a natural time to go more inward. And this new moon is at the finish line of some pretty stormy astrology. 2025 has had more than its share of ups and downs, and you may feel pretty wrung out or transformed than what you were 6 months ago in some area of your life. So this new moon is actually opening up a whole new set of opportunities, and it's an excellent time to be coming back to clarity, to be making decisions, to be thinking into the future. I'm still here in India, and I do really feel like something has changed because the season has actually just shifted into the monsoons. So you can see, I'll show you out the window. The rains are coming. This new moon is in the area of the sky or nakshatra called Rohini nakshatra. Rohini is in Taurus, the red eye of Taurus the bull, that star. And it is considered to be the favorite lunar mansion of the moon. It's where the moon feels most at home, most comfortable. So there's a lot of creative energy. It's extremely fertile. But this is a new moon, so it's starting a cycle of growth. And as we're moving forward, Venus is doing something very important. Venus is the planet that rules over Taurus. She's the planet of love, relationships, but also abundance, the sense of abundance and fulfillment, happiness. She has been through quite a process in 2025 so far. She's been in Pisces, in that deep, watery exaltation place of Venus, where she really has a lot of powerful emotions, powerful karmic ties, perhaps, that she's been working out, because she went retrograde in Pisces, and she was also eclipsed, and then she met up with Saturn even at the end of March in Pisces. Now, Venus is finally leaving Pisces after being in Pisces since January 27th. So she's been there a long time. She's been through a big process there. And on May 30th, just 4 days or so after the new moon, she is going to enter Aries, the first sign. So she's going from the last sign to the first sign of the zodiac. That means she's crossing over this threshold of endings into new beginnings. And this particular area of the zodiac between water signs and fire signs we call them in Vedic astrology gandanta. Sometimes it's translated as karmic knot or edge point, a threshold, where something really has to unravel, to really let go, to get on with it and get forward. So that's what Venus is going to be up to by the 30th of May. She's going to cross around 11 p.m. Pacific time. And it is a rebirth for Venus. Also, another critical gandanta crossing will happen on June 5th with Mars. Now, Mars has been in watery Cancer, another water sign, for also an extended amount of time, since April, and even before that he was there as well. He also went through part of his retrograde cycle in Cancer. Mars doesn't feel so comfortable in Cancer. It's in a deep, kind of sensitive, emotional place for Mars, and Mars is a fiery energy, an energy of willpower and focus. He's a warrior, so he's considered to be debilitated in Cancer. While Venus is exalted in Pisces, Mars has been debilitated. So there's been a lot of extreme energies between these two. Now Mars is also getting out of Cancer just a few days later on June 5th. This is a positive change, more easy to make decisions perhaps, more easy to be clear about your intentions, sort of a natural kind of energy surge as Mars gets deeper into the degrees of Leo later on in June. When Mars goes into Leo, though, he will be joining Ketu, the tail of the snake, which is now positioned in Leo. And at the moment, Rahu and Ketu are creating a yoga that involves all of the planets, all the visible planets, on one side of the Rahu-Ketu axis called Kalasarpa Yoga. And this is considered to be particularly affecting collective karma. It's a time of collective upheaval. More like we don't need any more of that. We have to be particularly aware that things can get inflamed, especially after Mars enters Leo and joins Ketu, because there's a particular flammability to that. Ketu and Mars together increases the chance literally of fires and of war. So Kalasarpa can be connected to conflict on a collective level. So this is a time to be still praying for peace and also being aware that there is a lot of tension in the atmosphere. But overall, compared to what was going on just a few months ago, well, basically all of the first half of 2025, we've reached a sort of finish line, almost like a time of recovery, I would say, in June. This is actually a pretty good time to be traveling because at least after June 5th, when Mercury enters Gemini, Mercury will be in his own sign and joining Jupiter until June 21st, which is a solstice. So this is a nice window for not just traveling perhaps, but just communication in general, studying, writing. This new moon is also the Shani Jayanti. They say the birthday of Saturn. And so this is up until the new moon anyway, the Amavasya, the day of the 26th leading up to the evening. This is a particularly powerful dark moon, Amavasya moon, for fasting, prayer, meditation, selfless acts of service, charity giving, because these are all actions that Saturn supports. Saturn is the Lord of karma, the Lord of time, and he really holds the record of our karmic debts. And he also can give us huge boons of spiritual growth, of all kinds of really deep wisdom, and huge success in anything we do. So by honoring Saturn on this dark moon time, we're doing a great remedy, especially for those of you in Saturn dashas or having a difficult transit of Saturn. Take a moment, slow down, connect to your inner wisdom. Saturn only just recently entered Pisces in March, end of March. And if you haven't already, you should check out the recordings of my class that I did about this 2.5-year transit of Saturn in Pisces. It does include horoscopes for all 12 Vedic signs. So let's just see what the tarot cards have to say about this powerful new moon in Rohini nakshatra. Okay, so the first card that came through is the Prince of Wands. That really looks so much like Mars coming into Leo, doesn't it? Look, there's the lion, Leo. The creativity coming back. And you may really feel like you've been wrung out or turned upside down, especially in the last 4 months. But now is a time for the sun to rise again. And the Four of Swords is here, though, so this is a dark new moon, and especially that dark part, the day leading up to the point when the moon and the sun are conjunct. And then after that 8:05 p.m. or so, I think it is. 8:02. Then after that, 8:02 p.m. exact, it will happen Pacific time. The moon begins to wax again. But up until then, there's something that's pulling you inward, something that's, it's not necessary to come out quite yet. Okay, so this is a time for taking it easy, this new moon, for meditation, for that quiet introspection that Saturn, this Shani Jayanti time, that Saturn really embodies. And finally, the Queen of Swords comes up. Wow. This looks like Venus. So we have both Mars and Venus here in this reading, and they're both changing signs. They're both crossing the gandanta. Remember this very transformational point. Venus on May 30th. She's leaving behind Pisces and coming into Aries. This very big new beginning. You know, and Pisces, she's exalted in Pisces because that flow of sensitivity, and she can really connect with compassion. She becomes like a super empath. She becomes like almost like a channel of divine inspiration in Pisces. But she lacks boundaries, and in this Venus retrograde time, there may have been some real issues around setting boundaries, perhaps, or how you take care of yourself, how you nourish, how much you give versus how much you receive. Now she, the Queen of Swords, is clarifying boundaries. She's cutting herself loose from the past, making maybe difficult decisions, but letting things go, cutting them out. So this powerful morning star Venus, changing signs now into Aries, is a time to really come back to yourself, it looks like. Come back to your creative power, come back to your ability to be autonomous or self-directed, and to come back to your inner world, to recenter. Remember your spark, your inner drive, that thing that is authentically you. What do you want? Recenter, it starts at the point of self, at the infinite oneness within you. You are stronger than you were. You can know what you want, and you can say no to what you do not. Okay, thank you for being with me on this new moon forecast. I do offer Vedic astrology readings and tarot readings online, one-on-one on Zoom. Also, you should get on my newsletter, please. Check it out. I'll leave a link below in the description window. And also subscribe to this YouTube channel. Check out my other channels on Instagram and Facebook. And I will see you soon.